Welcome to the Transportation Committee meeting this morning. We have several items on the agenda. We do have a quorum, but to make it official, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Senator Berg, Senator Embry, Senator Hornback, Senator Smith,
Present.
Senator Turner, Senator Wheeler, Senator Wilson,
Here.
Senator Wise,
Here.
Senator Yates, Senator Storm,
Here.
Chairman Higdon.
Here. We do have a quorum and we are ready to proceed. Before we get started, it's a lot going on around us. If you don't mind, let's maybe take a moment of silence to kind of reflect on and say a silent prayer for the citizens of Ukraine, for our country, our state, and our members that are sick and suffering. Some of our former members, Joe Bowen, C.B. Emery, and just all those across the state who are sick and suffering and having a difficult time. So just a moment to silent reflection and prayer, if you don't mind. Thank you for that. We'll go a little bit out of order. We'll start off with House Bill 321. Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours. You have look around, see if Senator West is here. Hopefully he'll come in shortly to explain his part of the bill. Mr. Chairman, please proceed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 321 just simply changes the validity of a temporary tag from 30 days to 60 days. And that is the gist of House Bill 321. I understand there is a committee sub, and I have a guest here that would answer any questions that there might be on the sub.
Well, that's good. We have a motion. We have a motion on the sub. And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Basically, the sub pertains registration and strikes some language pertaining to registration of title of I want to say it's the title of mobile homes. There's Senator West. I'm trying to explain your bill and not doing a very good job. Would you introduce yourself for the record and explain the committee substitute and what the language that you've added?
Senator Steve West. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for taking over for me. Sorry I'm late. This Representative Church was kind enough to let us tag along on his bill, and my section is page 4. Those paragraphs there are the essence of my bill, which deals with affidavits of conversion. So, unless you're a real estate attorney, you probably may not know what these are, but when you have a mobile home in Kentucky, you have a title to that mobile home. If the mobile home is to be permanently affixed to property and become property, then you have to do what's called an affidavit of conversion. In order to do the affidavit of conversion, you have to surrender the title to the mobile home to the state. And it's a horrific process that I want to do more on in the future. I think John Schneider's over there laughing, and I think that's a laugh of agreement. But all this does, before you can surrender the title, there are liens on the title that have to be released by the bank. And we have a lot of problems of those liens being paid off and the bank not releasing the liens in time and not being able to convert the property for a year, 18 months. So it causes a real problem for banks and people, attorneys, real estate attorneys who want to perfect title. And so all this does is it allows the attorney, a Kentucky licensed attorney who did the closing, who paid off the liens with the bank. They have a check and a payoff statement where I paid off this lien. If that's not released, it allows them to swear by affidavit that I've filed this, it has been paid off, and it can be that this affidavit can be accepted by the clerk, and they can remove the lien and move the process forward. That's all this does.
Central West, probably in statute somewhere, there's a lot of definition for conversion. What is conversion when we talk about mobile homes, or explain what
we
it
do
is
this?
when they convert it?
Yeah.
I understand it, but I want to make sure everybody else understands when you convert one to a fixed location.
Sure. So the main benefit to the property owner is it's no longer taxed as a vehicle, and it's now taxed as if it's a home or property. Okay. So the taxation is one aspect. The key aspect for the homeowner is you now avail yourselves of new opportunities for financing. So not too many banks will loan on a mobile home, but they will loan on a home that's permanently affixed. And so they'll get much better interest rates, and much better opportunities to refinance, and better interest rates, better terms, all that sort of thing.
Well, and when you say it's actually put on a foundation, is that the definition of permanently affixed?
The main thing is there are specific. It has to be tied down, and there should be certain ties. A permanent foundation, yes, is one aspect of it. You actually put it on a foundation, and frankly, many, as with most things, the modern architecture, the modern mobile home is a lot different than it was 50 years ago. A lot of these mobile homes are it's sometimes nicer than stick-built homes, really. So,
Senator Wheeler has a question.
No, I just want to thank the sponsor of the bill as well as the sponsor of the amendment. I think this is great legislation. I had a personal experience myself when I purchased a vehicle online and had a temporary tag issue that ran out, and I had to because of some slowness in the paperwork that allowed me to, I had to jump through a few hoops to get another temporary tag, which was a hassle. And as someone from rural Kentucky, very familiar with issues with mobile homes and some of the challenges that they make, I think that's a great amendment, and it makes just for a really great bill. And I want to appreciate you guys getting together to do this.
Senator Smith.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I think probably Chairman Upchurch may remember back when I first came in 2000 that I worked on a bill for Blue Seals just for this and learned more about mobile homes than I had ever known to try to get them there. But it was interesting that for these homes to be built, Mr. Chairman, they have to be able to pass the codes for all the different states they go into. And so some of these are pretty stringent. So I didn't realize the craftsmanship and stuff that had to go in those. And so I appreciate the work that you're trying to do with this. It's kind of neat to see this bill 2 decades later kind of still moving forward. So thanks for your work on this.
Any other questions? We do have a motion. Senator Turner does have a question.
I don't know which one it should be directed to. Probably Mr. Upchurch. On page 3 on 31, it says the cabinet shall enter into a contract with a qualified third-party provider. Integrate. Is it? Okay. Okay. Sorry. That's all.
Okay. I need a second. So we have a second. We have a motion and a second. There'll also be a title amendment. But on this bill, we will not put this on consent. I think Senator West needs to explain his committee sub. The underlying bill is very simple, but we might have some questions about the sub. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Byrd, Senator Embry, Senator Hornback, Senator Smith,
Aye.
Senator Storm,
Aye.
Senator Turner, Senator Wheeler, Senator Wilson, Senator Wise, Senator Yates, Chairman Higdon.
Aye. Motion passes, same shall pass. We do have a title amendment. Motion on title amendment and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Your bill is passed, and like I said, we will not entertain a motion to put it on consent. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know I've been here a while because the bill that turned manufactured homes into real property was my bill. I think it's House Bill 348 in the 2000 session, so now we're amending it, so I know I've been here a while.
Yeah, okay, yes, you have. Thank you. And Senator Smith has a guest. Sorry, I didn't recognize that first thing, Senator.
Yeah, that's okay. I have Miss Carly Watts and her mother here. I'd like to have them stand up. Carly's grandfather was one of the first Republican judges in Perry County that we ever had, very, very close to my family, and just very proud to see her today with us. And I think she has a love of politics about like her grandfather did. So, Carly, welcome to our committee.
Members of the committee, can we make her welcome this morning? Stand up so we can see you. There you go. Welcome. Next bill on the agenda, House Bill 284. Representative Meredith. Please identify yourself, please, for the record, and your guests can identify themselves, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Representative Michael Meredith of the 19th House District.
Good morning. I'm Tabitha Clemens, Grant County Clerk, and representing the Kentucky County Clerks Association.
Mr. Chairman and committee, I'm Tom Underwood. I'm here representing the Kentucky Automobile Dealers Association.
I believe there is a committee substitute on this bill, Mr. Chairman, and it has three
Motion
very...
on the sub and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Please proceed.
I will say the sub has three minor changes to the original bill that was before you. On page 1, it adds recreational vehicle dealers to the approved entity list, along with mobile home dealers, manufactured home dealers, and all of our other entities that were already in the bill. On page 2, it also changes the fleet size, and I'm not sure who had this fantastic idea to lower it from 50 to 10, but I want to commend them for their work on that.
You're a wise man, and I do want to recognize we have members of the Kentucky Truckers Association in the back of the room, and they applaud you for that change and allowing that to happen. Thank you.
And the final difference in the sub and the original bill is found on page 32, and that is a request with regard to identifying numbers for individuals who are purchasing and getting a titled vehicle, as well as business entities who are purchasing vehicles that was requested by the Transportation Cabinet. Now, back to the original bill, and like I said, after those three small changes made in the sub, House Bill 284 is the result of the County Clerks Modernization Task Force that met over the interim, this past interim. What the bill will do is it will create a new modern system of electronically titling and an electronic lien process for vehicle transactions through the dealers, as well as, like I said, through the mobile home, manufactured home, and recreational vehicle dealers. And all the lenders that participate in that space as well. The bill allows the cabinet to contract with third-party data system vendors and integrate them into the CAVIS system that we know is coming. The third-party systems are paid for with user fees. All current license and registration fees would still be applicable and payable to the county clerks. The system is voluntary for users, and current processes would be continued for others.
Same shall pass.
Like I said, do also include the ability for lenders to file and release liens through a centralized paperless electronic system. And We do have a provision in there for rental car fleets and non-apportioned commercial vehicle fleets that would be issued a permanent license plate. Fleet registrations and renewals would be done in one single transaction. All fees, current fees would still be applicable again, along with a fee for production of the permanent plate and an annual management fee. Effective date of the bill is January 1st, 2024, giving transportation enough time to get Cavis up and going and get the plug-ins ready, hopefully. And the bill has wide support from the Auto Dealers Association, the county clerks, lenders, fleet operators, and other interested parties, and I know of nobody that's in opposition to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to say that members in your packet, there are several letters of support. Tom and Tabitha, thank you all for your help with this bill. I think you've helped me better understand it. And Representative Meredith, thank you for allowing us to make those simple changes to the bill. Representative Wheeler has a question. Senator Wheeler, I'm sorry. Okay. Senator Turner.
I apologize for trying to bring this into the last bill. I was late. As I understand it, the cabinet's going to be entering into a contract with third-party providers. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then it says that the fees that's going to be charged are to be collected from the purchaser. Is that the individual buying the automobiles?
It'll likely be a pass-through somehow or another through the dealer transaction fees.
Yeah. Well, the statute, as I read, it says, shall collect from the purchaser any fees charged for the transaction by a third-party provider. Then the dealers remit those fees. So right now, we don't know what kind of fees the purchaser of the automobile is going to be
I can
charged.
I can address that.
All right,
It'd
sir.
be all right, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please proceed.
Yeah, this is a widespread practice throughout other states that are, quite frankly, far ahead of us in their electronic titling systems. And there are 3 to 5 companies that are third-party providers. This does not require a single provider. Multiple providers can be a part of the system. The typical fee is between $15 and $20 for this. It dramatically speeds up the issuance of the title, perfection of the liens, and is a great convenience for both the consumer and for the dealer and for the transportation cabinet and clerks.
I appreciate that answer. That's what somebody in the public asked me, and I'm glad you could bring that to, now it's out there on the public knows what's going to happen.
Yes, sir.
$15, and thank you very much.
Tom, identify yourself for the record, please.
I'm sorry, I thought I did.
Maybe you did. I don't remember.
I know I'm getting on too, sir. I'm Tom Underwood. I'm representing the Kentucky Automobile Dealers Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Tabitha, you've traveled a great distance this morning. Please identify yourself for the record and weigh in
Sure.
on this because I know you have a lot to say.
Tabitha Clemens, Grant County Clerk, representing the County Clerks Association. I just want to thank Senator Howe and Representative Meredith and all the members of the Modernization Task Force that met during the interim. It was a really great process to be part of and to be heard. The task force really worked hard to ensure that all the stakeholders, whether it was on the auto title bill or the land records bill, were heard in that interim. And it was really a great product of both bills coming out of that task force. So really appreciate everybody's work on that and all of your time today. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I also do want to recognize my good friend and your colleague, Senator Howe, for his work on this as well. We filed mirror bills in the House and Senate on this issue, as well as the land records piece that came out of the task force. It has truly been a bicameral effort. We've worked hand in hand on all these from day one, and I thank him for his work on this as well.
Okay, thank you. And you do have a local mandate statement, and it pretty much says that there's not much effect to local governments, no undue burden on local governments. Also on this bill, members of the committee, I won't entertain a motion for consent because I know Senator Howe would. This is a good piece of legislation, something that you all worked very hard on this summer to come up with. A lot of people had input, so it does need to be discussed on the Senate floor.
Mr. Chairman, final comment, please.
Yes.
I too want to echo the appreciation that my colleagues here have put forward. The chairman, Meredith and Howell, have been fantastic. And not only were we able to craft a really good bill, I think that we were able to cement a better relationship between the lenders, the dealers, the county clerks, the mortgage title folks. I think we'll have an ongoing communication and dialogue on issues in the future. And it was a tremendous process, and I was really pleased to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have a motion by Senator Wheeler had made the motion. We have a second by Senator Turner. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Byrd, Senator Embry, Senator Hornback, Senator Smith, Senator Storm, Senator Turner, Senator Wheeler, Senator Wilson, Senator Wise, Senator Yates, Chairman Higdon.
Aye. Motion same shall pass, and we thank you. Congratulations. That's a very good piece of legislation. Thank you all for being here this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
I have, yeah, what 144 is, sorry for the delay. We have some housekeeping to do. Senator Caslin, Senate Joint Resolution 6, and this is a road naming resolution, and something we're doing different this year is to give everybody an opportunity to talk about their designee and why it's important. You know, we roll all these into one bill at the toward the end of the session, and we don't get to talk about these individually. So we know that this is indeed an honor for those. We want it to be an honor for those who made a sacrifice of note for and have that are now deceased, and we want to honor them. So Senator Caslin, would please proceed.
So committee, I'm Senator Caslin, and Mr. Chairman, we are for discussion only, right?
That's correct. There's no vote.
That's right. So, you know, it's my honor. We all have those special people in our community that we know that we grew up around and that become mentors for so many people, and you witness them through their life doing amazing things and just standing the test of time as an individual. And in a small rural side of Davis County, Kentucky, in a community called Knoxville, it's a very, very tight-knit community. And Warren Lanham was a man who lived there his entire life. He served 6 years in the U.S. Army. He was assistant chief of the fire department and served over 40 years as a firefighter, starting off as a volunteer firefighter in the community of Knoxville. He was a guy who was full of humor, that kids loved being around, and anytime you encountered him out and about in the public, he was always in a joyful spirit. loved volunteering at his church, great at woodwork, and using his gifts to give back to the community and to his church. And so, the unique thing about renaming this road after Mr. Lanham is it will go by the fire department where he started his career as a firefighter, and it will also pass by his church that he spent his lifetime going to, that he poured into. And so, committee, I would ask for your support when the time comes for this road naming after Mr. Warren Lanham.
Thank you, Senator Caslen. We appreciate you being here this morning. Thank you. All you need on that is a motion to adopt. After I talk about this one, and then I'll talk about this one. Nothing's, I'll just talk about it that way. Record, okay? I'm gonna go down. That means you're in charge.
Thank you, Senator. If you don't mind, identify yourself for the record, and you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Jimmy Higdon, the 14th Senate District. And Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for allowing me to be here today to talk about Senate Resolution 144. As you all remember, last week in our discussion, Senator Hornback made a recommendation that this committee do a resolution asking the Federal Highway Administration to reconsider their rules that they've set forth on CDL licenses, which is now they're requiring for a person to get a CDL that they had to go to a certified school and take that training at a certified school. Mr. Chairman, we already are suffering tremendously across the country with a shortage of CDL drivers. You know, you don't have to look far to find if you've all probably seen a big yellow bus parked in your community that says bus drivers need it. The one ads are full of construction companies needing dump truck drivers. The state is in dire need of individuals with a CDL to plow our roads in the wintertime to remove the snow. And over the road drivers, there's like I said, our supply chain is stretched to the limit right now, and the federal government is about to stretch it even further with this requirement. I've advocated for years to area technology centers and vocational schools at the high school level to include a course on to take the test, the written part of the CDL, because prior to this, the number one thing that prevented a person from getting the CDL was the written test. Now, the number one reason for a person getting the CDL is going to be this mandatory school that they have to attend, which most likely, if you live in a rural community, is not going to be located in your community. You're going to have to travel to another community, maybe live there. So I think we're putting the cost of a CDL, outside of what a person would be able to afford to become a CDL driver. We'll have companies that can afford to hire people and send them to school. That's great. But I think it would restrict a lot of other people from getting a CDL and further complicate our situation here in the United States. So this resolution simply asks the Secretary of the Transportation Cabinet in Washington, D.C. To reconsider their rule that they have set forth about commercial driver's license.
This time I'd entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion.
Second. Senator Wheeler, you have a question?
Just a comment. I've filed my own bill to expand access to commercial truck driving this session. I want to thank the sponsor for this resolution. think it's very important that we do get more drivers on the road. Why on earth, at a time with a supply chain crisis, that the Biden administration would choose to introduce this type of rule that would further exacerbate an already very serious crisis that we're experiencing in the United States of America is beyond me. We have plenty of mechanisms in the current law and the justice system to make sure that we have safe and educated drivers on the road. I wholeheartedly support this resolution and hope that it finds a willing ear in Washington to make sure that that we get as many folks out there driving truck as we can. So thank you.
Thank you, and want to thank Senator Hornback for bringing this forward, that we should do this. The act that the federal government has set forth is called the Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century Act. Like I said, I think it's a move backwards as far as progress. You know, currently there is not a major problem with the way we do CDLs in the country and in the state of Kentucky. We follow the federal law. We don't have a great deal of problem with CDL drivers with accidents and so forth. There's always issues with accidents, but it's not because of the training that CDL drivers have received. They don't always follow the training that they've received, and that might be an issue. So thank you again, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hornback, you have a question?
Not a question, just a comment. I wanted to thank the chairman for bringing this forward. And I knew, and as everybody knows, Senator Wheeler and everybody recognizes that this is not moving ahead. It's moving backwards, like you just said. And I really appreciate this, because this is going to be such a burden on the industry that we need to do something about it. And you know who I feel the worst for are the independent drivers out there that don't want to work for a large company that does have, we'll send them to school and those type of things. There are all type of places where they could go get classes anyway for driver's training. And but to put this burden on them, this expense on them, is not the right thing to do. And I just want to thank you for bringing this forward.
Well, thank you, Senator Hornback. I appreciate you having the foresight to recommend that we do this. So thank you. And we're in a crisis situation in America now with as far as CDL drivers, and this is going to make it even worse. So again, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Committee members, we have a motion and a second. Madam Chair, would you please call the roll?
Senator Berg. Senator Embry. Senator Hornback. Senator Smith. Senator Storm. Senator Turner. Senator Wheeler. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise. Senator Yates.
Mr. Chair, may I explain a pass vote?
Yes.
Currently in litigation with several cases where, because of breach of the standard of care and the negligence there with it, and for that very reason, I pass on this.
Chairman Hagedorn.
Aye.
Chairman Storm.
Aye. That'll be reported favorably to the Senate floor. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Senator, you have Senate Joint Resolution 66 as well, I believe.
I do.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. And this is a bridge naming resolution that will be voted on later in the session. In Spencer County back in 1916, over 100 years ago, Deputy Frank Doolin went out to arrest a attempted murder suspect at his home. And while he was at that home, he was ambushed by the suspect's brother and detained for a while. And Deputy Doolin was able to escape and get away from the suspect's brother, and later apprehend the suspect. And at the time during the apprehension, Deputy Frank Doolin was shot and killed in the line of duty. And you know, it's fitting that we recognize this individual, this law enforcement officer that was killed in the line of duty, and I think and to further recognize that every law enforcement officer, when they leave home in the morning, that they never know what will happen to them before they return home at night. And I think it's proper for us to honor and recognize the service and sacrifice of Deputy Frank Doolin, and be remembered in this tangible way. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Wheeler, if you don't care to identify yourself, and then you can proceed on Senate Joint Resolution 143.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Philip Wheeler, representing the 31st Senate District, Pike, Martin, Johnson, Lawrence, and Elliott counties. Senate Resolution 143 is a memorial resolution honoring the Davis brothers, a family of 4 brothers who were all veterans of the Second World War in Martin County. I think the Senate citation really says it all. 2 of the brothers, Homer and Herman, were twins. The other 2 were Ted and Curtis. They lived in Deboard in Martin County. Between these 4 brothers, they served in various theaters throughout the Second World War, including both in Europe and the Pacific and North Africa. They were awarded numerous citations for meritorious service. And this resolution was sought by their family members to honor these members of the greatest generation from Martin County for their service to this country. With each passing day, I think I read that, approximately 5,000 Second World War veterans are dying a day. We have very, very few of them that are left at this point. And we cannot forget, especially when we're seeing certain things over in Ukraine right now, that this generation stepped up to the cause of to defend the cause of freedom and democracy against totalitarianism. And we want to make sure that future generations know of their sacrifice and that it is remembered in our Commonwealth. So I'll gladly entertain any questions, but I would encourage members to support this resolution when it comes to the Senate floor.
Senator Smith is going to do this too.
Thank you, Senator Wheeler. Senator, you have a comment?
Senator Wheeler, this is not in my district, but I certainly appreciate the fact of naming this after those brothers that served in World War II. And one of the things I think that even our own generation doesn't appreciate is the veterans of World War II. After reading several books that I've read on what shape the country was in and how everyone pulled together during that time. My parents grew up during the Depression, also during World War II. But it certainly has made me very aware every time I see one that is still around, I make sure and shake their hand and thank them, because we would not be where we are today without them. So I'm just glad to see this. Thank you.
Couldn't agree more, Senator Wilson.
Thank you, Senator Wheeler. And at this time, as Senator Smith comes to the table to present his resolution, Senate Joint Resolution 75, I think that Senator Higdon had a guest he'd like to recognize.
I have a group of guests, Mr. Chairman. Members of I mentioned earlier, members of the Kentucky Truckers Association who are in town today. Want to recognize them, and Ed O'Daniel, who's with them at one of my predecessors as Kentucky State Senator. Mr. O'Daniel, Ed O'Daniel, Senator O'Daniel back then was here for many years and did a lot of work on workers' comp. And if Ed and the members of Kentucky Truckers Association, you haul a lot of groceries. Kentucky Truckers Association. Would y'all please stand so we can recognize you, please? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And Senator Smith, go ahead and proceed. Oh, I'm sorry. Senator Yates had a comment.
Actually, Mr. Chair, maybe just a housekeeping measure. It was brought to my attention back on the Senate Resolution 144, which I did a pass vote. Just for clarifications on the record, I think that under the Constitution, Section 57, that has to be listed as a recusal, if potential conflict. It may have been what they put in there based on the pass vote. Just wanted to be clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We'll let the record reflect that. And at this time, Senator Smith, you can proceed with Senate Joint Resolution 75.
Very good, thank you. I thought it was funny for the chairman to call him the Grocers Association. He's like me, we're old grocery store guys, and we remember working with this group for years. But I want to speak to you all day about a serious topic. In World War II, over 16 American men and women fought with the Allied forces to stomp out probably one of the most brutal, unjustified periods of all of world history, and it's unique that we're seeing that unfold again today, almost identical to what happened back then. And this policy of appeasement, in my opinion, of not wanting to put a no-fly zone over there and put a stop to this right now, we can control it, I think will be a mistake of historic proportion. I think that we know what's going to happen. You cannot appease a bully. In doing so, that will cause long-term sacrifices of many of people in this room, of our family, that can probably be stopped now. So I would encourage the President of the United States to change course on his energy policy and activate our oil, natural gas, and coal in this country and stop buying Russia's fuel. And for us to be able to commit through NATO to actually put planes in the air and stop this bombing of these cities. Which we're extremely capable of doing, and could stop this thing from going into World War III. So that's my 2 cents, but it's really relative to what we're talking about. With 16 million men and women from the United States serving abroad so that this would not happen, it's sad to see it come back up. But I want to talk to you about 2 individuals from Perry County that I'm very, very proud of. Arthur and Bill Cottle. Both of these men served their countries as members of the United States Army during World War II. Bill Cottle was a private first class with Company A. He was part of the 28th Cavalry Reconnaissance Squadron of Mechanized Vehicles and the 6th Cavalry Group. His brother was a private first class in the 172 Infantry of the Mountain Battalion. If you know anything about that, it's a pretty tough group. Regiment 43rd, the Winged Victory Division. And both of these men fought bravely for this country, but unlike many of them, they were both killed in the line of duty. They never returned back to Eastern Kentucky to see their family or their friends, or to come back and see the day when we declared victory over this. But their sacrifice for all these years has actually been just known inside of our community until recently at a young lady's funeral. A young lady who died way too young of cancer. Her aunt came up to me and asked me if we could ever do something for these 2 men. And I said that we absolutely could, that I was very proud to be on the Transportation Committee, and that this is a group of individuals that took this stuff very serious, and that I would make a presentation before you to see if there was something we could do to recognize the sacrifice of these two heroic individuals. And so Senate Joint Resolution 75 today does just that. And I've got the proper paperwork filed, and we'll present this on the floor. And like so many of you all that have these very same stories, the names change, but the heroic deeds are the same. And these people deserve to be remembered, especially right now as we face it. And I will tell you, as a grown man, I'm afraid of what's happening over there. I don't know if it's I'm getting old now or what, but when I see what's happening over there, it's really fearful. And for anybody that's got children that could be deployed into service, as many of us do, I think it makes it even more worrisome. So my thing is cut the head off the snake while we can. Hesitation is only an opportunity for somebody like Putin. And I pray daily that we take this thing serious and stop this appeasement program. But with that said, thank you all for your time and support for this resolution.
Any questions, comments? This time I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.